I like to use a small one that's too small and open that end up just a little bit. That way it tends to splay out correctly when I use the appropriate size here. This is the optional belt loop. We'll sew that one on, fold it down. And I did put a little moisture behind there so we didn't get cracks and stuff when I folded it. Same with these. I just put some moisture on the back side there. Pre-form these. Keep from getting the cracks and stretches. I'm bending this just to get it into shape, loosen it up, right on the other side of these stitching holes here. And where the corners are, I'll even start to give it that bend as well. It'll just make it so much easier when sewing this together. When you're going around these corners, the thread's going to want to keep loosening up on you. So what I'll do is either just go a couple. If you tighten it every time, it will tighten back 3 or 4 stitches and not come loose. And making sure this is already formed and wanting to go into that shape, that will help as well. Set that up so it wants to be into that corner shape. When you're coming through, it's easy to scratch the surface that's going to show there too. So try not to just haphazardly cram the needle through. And one thing I like to do is when I come around this edge, stop, tie a knot so I can start right here and then hide that other knot. It'll look cleaner up top so I don't have to backstitch or tie a knot where it can be seen. We'll set this aside for now. And this is the main front panel. You got the snaps there. And that extra card slot here, you can put it right there, but it's hard to get in here. So I like to put it like this. So this one on here like that. That way, that pocket, that foam pocket, which has got that gap, makes it easier to get your little hidden card in the back there. And then you also have this top one. So, like this, we're going to sew around this top edge. And it helps to kind of spread those apart a little bit first, so you're not fighting them quite as much. So it's easy to hit this and scratch it, more so when we're coming back through. So what I'll do is kind of have my finger in the way so I'm not going to hit it, but more so when I'm coming back through, this tip of this needle can scratch it pretty easily. So I'll have this thumb underneath holding it out of the way and come in. Just make sure I'm not hitting that. the pattern, that's one piece, but you can cut it right at that spot if you want to save on leather. And I had a small piece and I needed to scrounge as much of it up as I could, so I ended up cutting that, and they'll just sew on each side right here. And again, you're going to want to make sure you go on that inside row of stitches here. It's not necessary to add a couple ties just to hold this in place, but I find it makes it a little bit easier. That way you don't have to fight the parts quite as much. Sometimes I like to have a little something in this pocket here. Kind of opens this up a little bit more so I can get in here a little easier. Just take your time. Make sure you're not scratching anything as you're pulling needles through. Snug it up. Doesn't need to be quite as tight as the inside of this gusset. Snug, but that gusset is what really needs to be pulled tight. Curved needles can be pretty handy. Makes it a lot easier to get around this edge. You can turn this up. Helps to have something in front here if you want to hold it up. What I like to do is either come across, backstitch, or knot it, and then come from the other side. That way all my back stitches and whatnot are hidden on the bottom of this. Before you just start here, it can be helpful to line this up, and you'll see that back panel comes across that edge just a little bit. But throw something into these corners to make sure it's lined up before you start stitching. Save you a headache later. Since the inside holes are a little bit closer, that inside bend needs to be a little shorter. I like to hang this over the edge of a table or something while I'm sewing across that point. Or you can set it on a box or something. just to get that curve in there. It makes it easier for you to hit the holes. You can always set it up on its side like this as well.